Alright guys, welcome back to the Mumen Rider YouTube channel. Today's video, it is so epic. What happened was so epic. So, this is about Dan and myself. Dan had a nice century, it was a metric century ride in his hometown. He'd been asking some of us to go down and bike it with him. This is 2 weeks after we just completed our 2021 Storming Thunder Ridge. 2 weeks after it. And so some of the guys, you know, they're up in New Jersey. They're kind of tuckered out after the big, long Storming Thunder Ridge, 100-miler. And they're like, do we really want to go bike like 63 miles, a metric century, you know? Do we want to go do that? And especially because it's all the way down in North Carolina where Dan lives. And I'm like, you know what? I'm pretty close to where Dan lives. I could go down and do that, hang out with him for the weekend, go do the ride with him. But little did I know how epic it was going to be. Little did I know. It was great. So, I started texting him kind of the week leading up, hey, you know, I think I'm going to try to come down and do that ride with you. He's like, oh yeah, man, it's going to be fun. It's going to be awesome. Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm like, okay. So, the thing is, I had a birthday party to get to that evening, Saturday evening, because the ride was on Saturday. So I was like, I'll drive down, I'll do the ride with you, we'll hang out some, but then I need to drive back that evening. So, can't really stay too long. But, so I get down there, drive down, I have to get up early in the morning, make sure all my stuff's together. Drive down there. I mean, I'm like, it's not 100 miles, it's long, it's only 63 miles. It's only a metric century, so 63 miles or so. It'll be not too hard. Little did I know that it was actually a race. It wasn't like an official USAC race where you need the official cyclist license to race, you know, racing license. It's not like one of those, but it's actually like a local in-town race. That's 63 miles. They give gift card prizes out to like the top 5 people who come in. So first through 5th place, they get gift card prizes of like 10 to 25 bucks. I was like, dude, this is like actually more, it was more than just a fun ride. I thought it was just going to be a bunch of people from his town, fun ride, getting together. This is actually a bigger event. There were like 200-300 people there. In our category, there were probably close to 100. I would say like 70 to 100 people just in our category doing the full 63 miles. Because there's a 63 mile, a 45 mile, and like a 25 mile. And if you came in top 5 for each of those categories, you got gift cards. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. So Dan wanted to do the long one. So we signed up. We were going to do this 63 miler. And so I'm like, well, Dan, this is actually like a legit race. So I drive down. We meet at a gas station. We jump in the same vehicle together, throw his bike on the back since I have a bike rack. We ride over. We're talking strategy. He's like, yeah, I think we should try to win this. I'm like, dude, there are like strong people. Like after Steve and I had done that race where we literally just came in like almost last place. Where Steve came in second to last place and I came in like 7th to last place. I was just like, no, dude, there are so many other people stronger than us. So my hopes, my expectations weren't super high. But I'm like, it is a local. It's not like an actual licensed event or anything. It's just a local ride where they're kind of making it a race where you have prizes and stuff. So I'm like, and it was a really pretty flat course, hardly any climbs. And even if it had the climbs, it had a couple climbs, but the climbs were never like more than 8% grade. They were only like 2 to 6% grade. So they weren't like super steep or super tough climbs at all. So I was like, okay, manageable. Here was my problem, though. My problem, after Storming Thunder Ridge 2 weeks ago, the 100-miler, I had done almost zero training. Like, zero training. So, like the week after Storming Thunder Ridge, I biked twice for 30 minutes on the bike machine. Lightly. Just a light spin. Just light spin. Just keeping the legs warm. And then, the last week, I biked on Tuesday and on Thursday. And I did some pretty hard intervals then on Tuesday and Thursday. And then rested Friday and then Saturday, which was yesterday actually. So Saturday, yesterday, drove down there, and did the actual race with him, which I didn't know it was one. But it was very fun. So here's what happened. So we start, and I'm like, okay, this is an actual race. I have learned quite a bit from previous things. My fitness level really isn't there currently right now because I didn't know this was an actual race. I wasn't really preparing for it. I was just preparing on going on a nice spin ride with you, Dan. So this is an actual race, so we need to try to work our tails off here. So first thing, we want to get a lot towards the front, you know, especially even if we don't know if our fitness is there or not, still, the best place to be is towards the front of the pack, towards the front of the group. Because Steve and I, we didn't know that. We're just like, we're going to be draft kings, and we're just going to sit at the back of the pack and just draft, and that'll be fine. But, well, that didn't work out too well for us, because with a 70-man peloton, it's just a bungee effect. It was snapping people off the back, and then they can't catch up. So we're just like, no, this isn't happening. So I was like, I don't want this to happen with Dan and myself. So right when we start, it's kind of a rolling start for everyone. Rolling start out. Dan gets right behind me, and we get right up to the front group. Front group of about 15 riders or so, which were the fast-paced riders. Remember, there were about 70 or so people in our category who are doing the 63 milers, so about 70, but only about 15 to 20 of them were actually really fast, going to do it really hard and well and stuff. So we get right into that group, right at the front. I'm like, we can't get left behind or caught behind. So we start going, and that group is fast. I learned quite a few things. So anyway, we all get in a line, and we all just start rotating through the whole, like, 15-man group. You know, we're just in a line, everyone's rotating through. But for myself, I'm thinking, my fitness quite isn't there. I'm not going to be pulling hard when I get to the front. So I time myself, I'm doing like 10 to 25 second pulls. Nothing super hard, just enough to make people not be like mad at me, being like, you ain't pulling, you're just sitting in the back. And I'm just like, you know, I don't want people grumpy at me. So I'm doing a little bit of pulling, and when I am, I'm not pulling that hard. But then Dan, on the other hand, he gets to the front, and he'll just, like, slave away up there for, like, 2 minutes, just, like, going so hard. And I'm just like, either you think your fitness is off the charts, or, I don't know. I just was like, I don't think that's just that good of a move, because you're going to tire yourself out, and we're only within the first 10 miles of starting this thing, and we have 63 miles to go. I'm thinking it'll be 3 hours for us. That was my goal, was to do it in 3 hours. Unless I'm staying with the group and they're going faster, then cool. So anyway, we're going, and a couple people get snapped off the back, and we're down to like 13 or 14 people. And then Dan does this super hard pull up a climb. No one else is coming after him, so I just jump on his wheel and go up behind him. And we look back, and, like, Dan just burned it up this climb. He was flying up it. And I was just kind of just sticking to his wheel, huffing and puffing. I look back, and we have a good 6 to 8 seconds in front of the people in the 13-man group behind us. And I'm like, okay. We get to the top of the hill. It's a red stoplight. I'm like, well, that whole bit of energy... And we're sitting at the stoplight, and they all catch up to us, and they're like, yeah, how you going? I'm like, yeah, hi, see how fast we went up that hill? Yeah. Well, we didn't get ahead because of it. But anyway, so then we keep going, and I get to the front again. My whole strategy, too, is I want to be watching if any people try to get into another smaller break from this 13-man group, since the 13-man group is pretty big. So we might have 2 or 3 other people trying to shoot off from that. So I'm kind of really watching and marking everyone, having my eyes on them all. And I'm trying to stay within the top 6 or 7 at all times. Not get all the way to the back, because then I have to leap so far. So I'm always trying to stay within 6 or 7, you know, front to back. The problem with that, though, is you're in the wind a little bit more, so you are using a little more energy, but you can mark moves better. You just have to be stronger to do it. And my fitness Wasn't quite there, but at the beginning of the race, I was feeling pretty good, pretty strong. I was doing all right. Trying to keep my heart rate down. My heart rate spiked at the beginning a few times, but I was able to really watch it and pace myself and keep it down. So I'm still doing my same little 10 to 25 second pulls. And then Dan, he gets on the front again. And it's kind of a flatter section, and he pulls hard for like over 2 minutes probably. Just pulls hard. He pulls off. He's all kind of tired and stuff. The minute he pulls off, 4 or 5 of the guys just shoot off attacking. And I'm just like, since I'm only like 5th or 6th wheel, I'm just like, oh, I see them attacking. I sprint and jump right on them. And so I'm drafting behind them while they're attacking, so I'm saving energy. But Dan, because he just did a hard pull, he's super tired. He got snapped off the back. 2 other people got snapped off the back. And we're down to 10 people now. 10 people in our group. Only 10. We had like 15 and we had already snapped off 10. And this is only after the first 45 minutes. So Dan stayed with the front group for 45 minutes until he got snapped off the back. So afterwards we talked a bit, and we're just like, strategy-wise, especially if we're not thinking we're the strong ones in the group, which I went in there definitely not thinking I was one of the strong ones, because I'm like, nah, after the last race, I know there are tons of people super strong, especially since this is a flat course and I'm more suited for climbing, especially steeper, longer climbs, not like a 2 or 3 or 4% grade climb. Yeah, no, I like, when I like climbing, it's like 8% grade or more, and that's what I usually excel at because I'm really light, better for climbing, better suited for climbing. So Dan and I talked about it, and we're just like, no, we're not going to pull hard like that again, you know. Especially because some of the other guys, they get to the front and hit the front and pull off almost instantly, within 10 seconds. I'm like, if they're doing that, I'm going to do that too. It's like, what the mess? I'm not going to sit up here and be pulling hard for 30 seconds to a minute. You know, I'm just like, no, I'm just going to, oh, you pulled off? Oh, yep, I'm pulling off right away and rotating back. Makes sense. So anyway, that was kind of our strategy for next time, because we want to do it again. So he gets snapped off the back. He was with the front group with us for 45 minutes. He gets snapped off. I'm like, well, it's just me representing our Mumen Rider team. Let's see how long I can last. My legs are still feeling good. My heart rate's good. I'm hydrating well. We'll see what happens. There's 10 of us in this front group now. And we keep going. And the thing I learned too is every time we come to a stop sign, every time we come to a stop light, we'll stop, and then they'll all sprint out of the turn or sprint out of the corner to try to get back up to speed quickly. Well, also, that drops people from the group, because if someone doesn't have a fast enough sprint or he gets dropped from the back, then he can't catch up, and he's 20, 30 feet behind, and yeah, he just won't be able to catch up. He's just hitting all the wind by himself. So I tried to make it really on point to stay with the groups when they would snap and accelerate quickly. So so that 10-man group, 5 of us go off the front, and then there are 5 behind. 5 of us go off the front, 5 behind, and we go hard, and I see that group going, so I jump in, so I'm one of the 5 people off the front. 5 of the other guys are behind. And then from that group of 5 that I'm in, 2 people attack from it. And so I jump on their wheel and, you know, stick with them. And then they slow down and we catch them, and then they attack again. And we're like, oh, and so I bridge to them again, because the other 2 guys, they're just sitting on my wheel pretty much. So I bridge to them twice, and I'm like, man, what in the world? But also, I forgot to mention, out of those 10 guys that were, before we had split up and we were 5 and 5, out of the 10 guys, like 4 of them were on the same team. So I was like, that's pretty good odds. So when I got into this group of 5 in the front, 2 of them were on the same team. So one would attack and the other one would just sit on the wheel while I'd pull back, and then it would keep going like that. So it was very interesting team tactics going on, and I'm just like, wow, I wish we had more of a team here. Kind of wish they wouldn't have attacked right when Dan did a hard, long pull, but they did, so that's what happened. So anyway, so then another guy and I were kind of being kind of buddy-buddies here. So he goes off the front a little bit. I jump on his wheel, And those 3 guys, 2 of which are on the same team, they kind of just coast back. And so we're off the front. And the guy looks at me. He's just like, we're not going to go hard. We're not going to go hard. Even though, yeah, we're off the front, 2-man breakaway in a sense. He's like, they're going to catch us. We're not going to go hard at all. So let's just do a nice, steady, easy pace, switch poles. So we do that, and we're off the front for probably a mile, probably 3 minutes or so. 2.5, 3 minutes. And then eventually, not the 3 guys, but those 3 guys as well as the other 5 guys, they all catch us. So those 5 guys caught up to the 3 guys and then caught up to us 2 in the front. So then we're all back together again, a big group of 10. Then we hit this kind of small little fault flat riser. One of the guys shoots out the back. He just can't keep up anymore. So we're now down to 9. Now down to 9. And then we hit another light. We all sprint out of that light. Another guy can't keep up. He falls out the back. We're down to 8. And then 2 of the guys attack again. And once again, myself, being not smart, pull him back really hard. But because of that, the last guy, who was kind of buddies with me for a bit while we were talking and off the front, he gets snapped off the back. So now we're down to 7 in the front group. The 2 guys who always keep attacking, I'm just like, bro, why do you keep attacking? So much energy. Those 2 guys, and then another guy with their teammate, and then myself. So it's a group of 7 now. Group of 7. I'm just alone up there. My legs are slowly starting to feel it. We had stopped at a construction work zone. They had, the stops, and they had to stop for, 30 seconds. During those 30 seconds, I wolfed down a granola bar, because I'm just like, I'm starting to practice for sure, actually eating a lot and eating granola bars and stuff while I'm biking with groups like that. Because especially when we're going at such a high pace all the time, it's kind of scary to reach out. If I had a gel, I forgot to bring my gels, but if I had a gel, that would have been easier. But having a granola bar and unwrapping it, or even a banana, trying to peel it and unwrap it can be a little bit more difficult when you're with a high-paced group. But it is definitely so necessary to be eating while you're doing all of this, because your energy is just being sapped from you the whole time. So anyway, so now I'm with this group of 7 people, and I'm thinking I've bridged and I've pulled hard to get any attackers back 3 or 4 times by now. So I'm just like, I'm not going to keep doing that, because I'm already getting burnt out of energy, and we still have halfway to go at least. Yeah, at least halfway to go. So finally, guess what? Those same 2 guys, boom, they attack off the front. And I noticed something too. Whenever I was doing a pull, a decently hard pull, they would always attack off the front then. And I'm just like, I wonder if they're doing that because maybe my pull isn't fast enough for them, or they're doing that because right when I finish my pull, they attack off the front because they don't want me, because I'm always the one who will snap quickly to get on their wheel. And so I guess they're waiting for me to get really tired before they get off, attack off the front. So it was interesting how they did that literally every time, except for one time. 3 of the times they did that, they attacked right when I finished my pull at the front. And I was just like, I think they don't want me to be in the group. But they don't really know my fitness level really isn't there. I guess they were thinking I was stronger than I was. But all these guys are also a lot heavier than me too, so I'm just like, one guy, he was really smart. He would time off his pulls going slightly uphill, which is what I would always try to do, because then when it starts slightly going downhill, you don't want to be pulling because you want to be sitting in the draft. Everyone who's sitting in the draft when it's going slightly downhill, they're not pedaling at all. They're just sitting there coasting. Only the guy in front is pedaling hard to keep it up and everything. So, anyway, it was just brutal. I was like, I feel like I'm kind of getting teamed up on here. But anyway, so they attack off the front this time, and I'm just like, I'm not shutting them down. I'm not following that because I need to save energy. So, and no one else in the group does. So now there's 2 off the front and me with 4 other people. So a group of 2, group of 5. And one guy in our group of 5, he's just like, all right, we'll catch him down. We'll just rotate through. We'll track him down, catch him down. And I'm like, I don't think we're gonna. But we start doing that. We start falling into rotation, rotating around, rotating through. And it's pretty tough. But we're keeping it smooth. But 2 of the guys in our group of 5 are not pulling hard at all. And I'm doing about 30-second pulls now. So I'm doing a good hard like 30-second pull, then I'm pulling off. One guy in our group is doing monster like 2-minute pulls. He's doing super, super hard pulls as well. I'm just like, bro, man, you have a lot of courage. But maybe he was super strong or something. He seemed really strong. So anyway, but now my legs are starting to feel it. I've only had 1 granola bar, and we're at the hour, and we're getting close to the 2-hour mark, and my legs are starting to feel it. And I'm just like, this isn't good. But I was hydrating well. That my legs didn't feel like they were cramping or anything, but they're just feeling like they start getting tired, and then they won't recover. Like I'll do a hard little effort, and you feel like you'll get tired, like you did a bunch of squats or walked upstairs or something. And usually they recover quickly, so you're like, oh yeah, I'm still good. But now they're not starting to recover anymore. I think it was also just lack of eating enough food during the ride. So anyway, we come around this corner, and it's kind of a false riser flat. That's probably about 4%. So it was right in between. It wasn't steep enough for me to be able to stand well and be efficiently. And then my weight has a great factor because I'm like probably 20 to 30 pounds lighter than all of the other guys I was with in the group. And so it's just like, but it was just steep enough where when you're sitting down, it's just frying your legs. It's just burning them hard. So I'm just like, dude, this is not going to be good. And I look at that and I'm just like, I have a feeling I'm going to be dropped on this one. So we start going up it, and I'm kind of managing, and it's about a mile long, just 4% slow drag. And then towards midways, I start dropping off the back, and the other guy who had been doing the super hard 2-minute pulls, he started dropping off the back too. He was still a little bit ahead of me. I was here, he was here, and then the other 3 guys who had been doing hardly any pulls or anything, they're off the front a little bit. But then right towards the end, the guy who was also starting to drop off, he did a hard little effort, barely caught on the back of theirs. And then at the top of the hill, you make a left turn, and then it's kind of like rolly downhill, rolly kind of flat downhill for a good 2 or 3 miles or so. So I'm just like, oh, if I can tag onto them, if I can get onto them right when they make that turn. So I get to the top, I see them making the turn, I kind of speed up a little bit, but my legs are just like seizing up, just like they're just so tired. But they weren't cramping though, which was awesome. And so I cut the corner really hard, swing the corner sharp, super sharp. I get within like 20 feet of them, but then they just start pulling away, and I'm within 20 feet, and I'm just like, can't catch them. The wind's just hitting me too much. If I could have caught on their tail, I could have stayed with them at least to the base of the this kind of slower, longer downhill. But couldn't catch them, so I got dropped there, and that was 45 minutes from the finish line. 45 minutes from the finish line. I was like, come on. So then after that, I'm just like, well, I'm not going to catch him. I'm going to slow down, conserve my energy, make sure I can make it back all right, since I have about 45 minutes left to do by myself. So I do that, and just start conserving energy. Slow down, grab an apple, eat another granola bar, keep drinking water. And I kept having the feeling like people are gaining on me. So I would like look behind, didn't see anyone. Look behind, didn't see anyone. Anyway, fast forward 45 minutes. No one caught me. No one passed me or anything. I kept looking behind. No one came up behind me. But my speed did greatly decrease. Looking back at the Strava segment, because the whole race is one big Strava segment, I found out when I was with the front group and everything, my average speed was 22.4 miles an hour. So pretty fast, 22.4 miles an hour. And then the last 45 minutes, when I got dropped, my average speed was 17.6 miles an hour. So it dropped tremendously. And I just basically was just limping my way along back. So, anyway, I did that. I came in. No one else had passed me. So, the 2 people off the front, they never got caught. The 3 people, they came in, or the 4 people, they came in after. So, I came in 7th then, with 6 people in front of me. A group of 2 off the front and a group of 4. And then me, by myself. And then rolls in Dan in a group of 3. So, Dan came in 11th. And I came in 7th. And Dan was actually only 2 minutes behind me. So once I got dropped, my speed was so slow that Dan and his group almost caught back up to me. And so he rolled in 2 minutes behind me. And I rolled in about, I think it was 6 or 7 minutes behind the front group. So the group of 4 people that had dropped me on that one climb, I rolled in only about 6 or 7 minutes behind them. So I was pretty happy about that. I didn't slow down so much that they were like all of a sudden 20 minutes ahead of me. Because I knew, I'm like, we only have at least 45 more minutes of hard. But even if I would have caught onto them on that long road, after the end of that road, it took a right, and then it was like 2 short climbs, and one of them was a bit steeper. They would have dropped me on that one for sure. That's what I'm thinking. Because my fitness just quite wasn't there. It was close. I was feeling literally fine staying with the group the whole time up until like the last 10 minutes before I got dropped. And I'm just like, ooh, this is not good. I'm going to get dropped pretty soon. And then I saw that riser and I'm like, yeah, I'm getting dropped on this thing. And that's what happened. That's what happened. So I was like, anyway, it was a blast. It was so fun. Just being there, being in the front group, watching the team do tactics, mainly against me and some of the other guys, but still, it was just fun being a part of it. So I came in 7th place on an unofficial local road race. So it was a blast. It was awesome. Definitely told Dan we're going to do it again. They're doing another one in August and in October, so we'll maybe try to do 1 or 2 or both of them or one of them. And I'll try to make more of a weekend out of it. But Mumen Riders trying to represent, doing some more road races. It was awesome. Definitely my second, probably most favorite ride I've ever done. First one was definitely probably my bachelor party 2019 Storming Thunder Ridge. But this one, it was a blast because we were actually there in the group, in the fast-paced group. Adrenaline going, team tactics going, trying to hang, doing some hard pulls, trying to shut down moves, all of that. We're going to strategize. We're going to try to bring a bigger team next time. Learn more. Definitely. Tactically, I think I did a lot better. I still mistimed a few pulls. Mistimed getting good draft behind certain key moments. Key people and stuff. But for sure, tactically, I was doing a lot better. This one, I lasted way longer. Finished the day averaging only 20.8 miles an hour. If I would have been able to stick with that front group, it would have been 22 miles an hour average, but those last 45 minutes solo by myself just killed me, shut me down. Anyway, awesome. All right, guys, thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share it with friends, or just listen for your own amusement because these are awesome, and I'm going to try to keep them coming just so I don't forget the epic rides that we do. Dan so far has been great at suggesting awesome, cool rides. So definitely want to get more of the Mumen Riders to be joining Dan and myself, or else we're missing out on all the epic rides we're doing. But anyway, awesome stuff. Yeah.